Okay, we are the first team and we are going to present our last presentation. The first chapter is problems statement. The first is problem definition. The second is objective that include general objective and a specific objective. The third is research questions, and the last one is justification. The first is problem definition that include National English Program, PRONI. There are several data showing that include public education sector. Students acquire language skills through the National English Program, PRONI. This means that the students have a setback in acquiring a language, so it is important to continue with meaningful learning process. The second is contingency COVID-19. With the current contingent experience in the city, we contact him, a school director, for us to implement online classes. The teacher gave us the opportunity to teach the class and thus get to know the students more. And the last is the students have to improve their 4 skills. The writing and listening skills have developed. Optimally, some still need to learn more of them as well as reading because they need strategies to help them develop the skills even more by putting into practice the process of learning a foreign language. Next. This is objectives. The first is general objective. We will implement different strategies, methods, techniques, and tools to improve a students' The main objectives is to help the student reinforce their language, give them the tools and confidence to put their learning skills to the test, and also they find the need to acquire a new language. And the last is a specific objective. In our specific objective is the students will be able to identify significance learning of foreign language since teaching methods and strategies will be applied, and it is expected that with the strategies and dynamics implemented, the teachers will implement them in the future to improve even more the process of teaching, learning, making the learn in the students more significant. Next. Research questions. The first question is, how will the method and strategies in English language teaching motivate your students to develop their foreign language skills? The second is, how does the external context of a student learning of foreign language forward them? And the third is, what are the factors that motivate your grades to make an effort in learning foreign language? The fourth is, what percentage of your grades do students tend to have difficulties learning a foreign language? And the last one is, how do the dynamics of virtual classes motivate your grade students to improve their foreign language learning? Next. And the last for the first chapter is justification. The first is educational model established by the SEP. With the application of the course in teaching of a foreign language, we aim to help the students develop their skills in the foreign language as well as acquire knowledge according to their level following the educational model established by the SEP. The next is COVID-19. Since we are the digital resource, virtual platforms, and virtual sessions. Since we are currently living in the worldwide contingency, Classes and strategies have been modified to be able to classes to the students at a distance. That is why for the application of the course, we have established contact with the students in a digital way. Next.
Chapter number 2 is the description. It contains some points, the background of the institution, previous research, and reference framework. Next. Background of the institution. The school selected for the development of this project was the Escuela Secundaria General número 3, Jaime Torres Poder. It's a public secondary school located in Durango. The workforce is 119 people, including academics, administrative, medical, and cleaning staff. In the educational institution, there are 3 English teachers that teach the class in the different grades of secondary school. Currently, there are classes virtually and internships in the students that have difficulty in the learning of foreign language. The educational institution has seen significant progress in the learning of the foreign language through the support internships that are given to students who require it, and maybe even to students who want to acquire more skills in the language. Next. Previous research. The EFL teaching methodological practices in Cali. It shows partial results of a study about the profile of English as foreign language, EFL, teachers in both public and private primary and secondary schools in Cali, Colombia. Teacher methodological approach and practice were described and analyzed from a sample of 220 teachers. Information was gathered from surveys, interviews, and institutional documents. The quantitative information was processed with the statistical package of the social science and Excel while the qualitative information. The teacher methodology approach and method, lessons, activities, objectives, curriculum, syllabus, and evaluation was analyzed in the light of literature in the field. Finally, they discussed the implication of methodological approach. Next. The reference framework. There are the theories of education. The purpose of this reference framework is to add some of the most important theories in basic education. This information can provide to this project sustainability. These theories explain important details to understand the educational process. Educational theories develop in teachers the critical reflexive capacity, why, how, to develop the child's personality, abilities, and life skills. There are some theories like Lev Vygotsky, in 1954, has become the foundation of most research and theory in cognitive development of the past several decades, particularly of what has become known as social development theory. The next one is Piaget's theory. This the theory of cognitive development explains how a child constructs a mental model of the world. He disagreed with the idea that intelligence was a fixed trait and regard cognitive development as a process which occurs due to biological maturation and interaction with the environment. According to Piaget, children are born with a very basic mental structure on which all subsequent learning and knowledge are based. Next, please. The Brunner theory. Brunner theory, in 1966, he was concerned with how knowledge is represented and organized through different modes of thinking. Jerome Brunner proposed 3 models of representation: the enactive representation, the action-based, iconic representation, image-based, and symbolic representation, the language-based. Next. Maslow. Maslow initially stated that individuals must satisfy lower level deficiency needs before progressing on to meet higher level growth needs. However, he later clarified that satisfaction of a need is an unknown phenomenon, admitting these earlier statements by giving the false impression that a need must be satisfied 100% before the next need emerges. Next. Skinner in 1954, operant conditioning. The work of Skinner was rooted in the view that classical conditioning was far too simplistic to be a complete explanation of complex human behavior. He believed that the best way to understand behavior is look at the cause of an action, and the consequence he called this approach operant conditioning. Next. Bloom's taxonomy. In 1956, Benjamin Bloom, with collaborators, published a framework for categorizing educational goals, taxonomy of educational objectives, familiarly known as Bloom taxonomy. This framework has been applied by generations, teachers, and college instructors in their teaching. The framework elaborated by Bloom and his collaborators consists of 6 major categories: knowledge, comprehension, application, analysis, synthesis, and evaluation. The categories after knowledge were present as skills and abilities, with the understanding that knowledge was the necessary precondition for putting these skills and abilities into practice. Next. It's yours, Alondra.
Okay. Chapter 3, Project Scope. 3.1, we are going to see a scope of the project and then expected results and benefits. Well, first we have a scope of project. The expected scope for the students of the 3rd years of secondary of the Escuela Secundaria General and Jaime Torres Boder can reinforce the knowledge in a foreign language through, in this case, virtual classes, because as we know, there is a issue for that we are presenting right now, in which we want to manage to reinforce its learning to develop its ability in the foreign language. In the same way, we want to scope of the course to help future teacher of the above I'm sorry, mentioned educational institution in the teaching of the foreign language by applying the methods and strategies that we already mentioned. Well, we weren't. In general, we expect that the students can catch or the information or about about the activities we were applying in that moment, to increase their foreign language. Next, we have, well, here we have the benefit, the expected results. And there is that we expect that the level of the students can increase to a level from A1 to point 1 to A2, A1.2 in 4 months. The benefits of the students in learning the foreign language will be positive impact on the student teacher learning process, use of strategies and a dynamic that have a positive impact on students. With the application of the methodological guide, students and teachers will benefit from the learning process. Of course, increase the level of the student and increase learning of a foreign language that is projected into the grades where they saw in their progress, and then students will be able to express themselves in a second language. The use of these guides maximize so that through the students' academic life they can raise their level in the foreign language. Then
Chapter number 4, educational actors. This includes uh, characteristic of the focus group and teacher's profile. Next, Alondra, please. Next, Alondra, please. Next,
It's
characteristic
teacher.
of the characteristic of the focus group. The focus group is the third grade of secondary school, which is part of the evening shift. The group consists of 15 females and 19 males with an age range of 14, 16 years. Most students live in the vicinity of the educational institution. Most students attend their classes regularly, but 4 students in the group have present learning problems due to situation outside the educational institution, taking measures and providing educational psychological support for students to not present more academic lag. In the present course, we changed to the virtual class modality due, due to the contingent situation, COVID-19, giving support to the students and monitoring it so that they can continue their classes and expect to learn according to their school year. Next.
Teacher profile. The teacher will need to have the skills to able to solve the debuts that arise in the students, evaluate the students to keep a record of the progress of each student's learning, as well as for creating lesson plans for the classes and adjusting them to meet the students' learning needs. There are some characteristics for a good teacher profile. The first is show interest of teaching thinkers, minimal schooling professionals, bachelor's degree of English language teaching, a B2 level certificate in any proficiency test, dynamic teaching style, TKT young learners, 2 years of experience in front of a group, be proactive and be in constant teaching training, innovate with foreign language teaching strategies, ability to encourage to and motivate pupils, great planning and preparation capacity, being able to advance with differently pupils, and ability to maintain discipline and deal with challenging behavior. Next.
Next, we have the chapter 5, didactic sequence. And we have the points 5.1, characteristics of educational spaces. And 5.2, proposal of didactic strategies according to the requirement of the course. 5.3, didactic material. 5.4, practical and theoretical hours. 5.5, content table, and 5.6, didactic sequence. Well, we have the characteristic of the educational space, that is in the middle class, and it is a problem area in terms of security, since there is vandalism in their surroundings, office automations, computers. It goes with 2 science laboratories and math laboratory, a media room, social work, and educational guidance offices, management offices, administrative offices, coordination, library, school medicine, prefecture, quarantine office, warehouses, courts, civic yard with a dome, parking lot, and gardens. The school is in good infrastructure conditions. 6 third grade groups, 5 second grade groups, and 6 first grade groups attend to the school. In the afternoon shift, the modules are 50 minutes long, 7 modules in total. Entrance is at 2 p.m. and exit is at 8:10 p.m. The break is 20 minutes long. Well, in this case, we only used the computer because because the contingents, or I don't know how to do this in English, because the COVID-19, and that's why the classes was for internet. Next, we have the proposal for didactic strategies according to the requirement of the course. Here we choose these methods and approaches. Well, first we have the didactic method. As we know, the didactic method is based on the the context of what the students have to learn about. And then we have the suggested method. It is related to, well, the student's environment, well, the activities that we want to learn about. And then we have the total physical response. In this part, we use we ask students to act as the topic that we was implementing. And then we have the community language learning. In this part, is based on the students' language, their native language, and they need to learn as they learn with their first language. And then we have different approaches that we use, and there are cognitive approach. It is based on the consensus and reasoning of thinking process. And then we have the humanistic approach. This approach is related to the values of the students, how they are going to act, to have a good relationship with their classmates. And finally, we choose the theories related to, well, the constructivism theory, in where the students had to add with their previous knowledge about a topic that they already knew. Then we have didactic material that we used in this course. These only are examples about the student's personality. And then we have the practical and theoretical hour. The class will be divided in 2 units. Each unit will have 4 weeks classes consisting of 2 hours, which are for the presentation and vocabulary. Next, we have an example about content table, about the activity that we implement in this course. It's about expressing emotions and making complaints. Next, we have the didactic sequence. It is an example of the session that we are ready to teach our students of that course.
Chapter 6, this is the evaluation. This chapter is it focused to explain a proposal of this course, the evaluation instruments we use, the criteria and indicators to evaluate, and qualitative observations. Well, basically, just to resume this chapter, because about the situation that we are facing right now, the COVID-19, this course the course was not able to implement it by teaching in the classroom. We decided to develop by online classes, and basically we base on the book, which is the 3rd grade secondary school book. This with the purpose that students get a little bit familiar with the topics, and we decided to use this book because if probably we use another topics, students probably get a little bit confused. So next, please. Well, as I said, proposals of evaluation strategies according to the requirements for the course. As I mentioned, we implement in online classes, and we are teaching. Well, the teaching practice was organized with activities and with the specific objectives, and we use a formative evaluation, qualitative assessment, and summative assessment too. So all the contents that we manage in this course were in the book, as the previous material that my classmates showed were taken from the book. So as a works and exercises from the book, also, of course. And the next one, please. Well, the instruments that we use were written visual tests or examination and virtual portfolio. Or we also use rubrics to complement this evaluation. And another aspect important to mention were the topics that we managed during these 2 units. Were making complaints. These topics were very useful for students in order to improve their communication, expressing emotions. Also, this was a very interesting topic related to the first one that belonged to the first unit. Uh, the experimentation with science, this with the aim to students understand more about vocabulary in the laboratory or in any other activity in the classroom or in school. Reacted to TV shows, this was also a very important topic because we think that it was important for us to see how students can express or react for a specific situation, so they can have vocabulary and a very good explanation of this course. Of course, the aim of this course was to develop students proficiency. So some students have problems with English, which is the second language in secondary school. So that's why we decided to implement this course. The next one, please. Well, the creation of the indicators for the interpretation of the evaluation results, the evaluation criteria serves to clarify and conceptualize the terms related to the evaluation process, and that is to facilitate an understanding the interpretation through the course and acquisition of the foreign language. About the way we evaluate students, well, as I mentioned, this was the format, the summative assessment, which was one of the most important as way to evaluate students. In this way, we obtain a summative assessment according to the exercises from the book, and we got an average of 8.0. Was the way we applied to evaluate the strategies for students during the course. During this course, we didn't apply tests at the end of any of the units. We didn't apply it because according to the situation was not that easy for us to be monitoring or presenting or the well the whole content for students. So that's why we based more in worksheets and exercises from the book in general. Next, please. The next one. Well, as I mentioned, the qualitative observation, this qualitative evaluation by checklist observation consists of describing facts that it's being evaluated, reducing the evaluation judgment for students. And this was a very good way to evaluate students in the course, because as I mentioned, it was not that easy. The next, please. Here we have the chapter 7, which is the results. And just to conclude and to say about what we obtain during this course, I'm going to talk about a little bit the conclusion. Please, the next one, please. Well, as the execution of this project, we think that this was a very good experience for us, even though that we don't have the whole time to face the students in classroom. But we think that this is a very good experience for us as future teachers, because we manage working with students by online. So for some moments where this course was a little bit frustrating for us, because it was not easy to keep to keep observing, or to see if students were gaining the knowledge. And I think that students really like it, because well, they feel a little bit more relaxing, because we don't have classes in presential classes. But I think with this course will be better. Well, would it be improved better uh, if we doing presential classes, but according to the situation, we couldn't. So I think this is uh, the most important thing for this presentation, what to say about our experiences and our and the way we manage this course. But we have a very good average for students, so I think this course was useful, and it works for all students and for us as teachers. And the next one, please. Well, the biographical references, well, we base on the Secretaría de Educación Pública, some some theories from teaching, as my partner already already mentioned before. We base on some theories. These were from the theoretical framework. So we manage some informations from internet, from some books, and in order to have accomplish this project. The next one, please. Next. As here in the annexes, we show a little bit about the worksheets that we use. Well, this is an example of the worksheets that we use from the book, and a lesson plan, which was the way in which registered the content for each class and the units, and well, the time the time that we manage classes, the interaction with the students, and basically this is the information that we have shown about the project. Is there any? No. Well, in the BINNACLE, we have some preparations from teachers, the teachers that were checking or each point during this project. Sometimes we have 2 or 3 revisions from the teachers, and they just write down some observations or just some points to review. So each teacher gave us a revision format to this integrative project, just in order to have an even evidence to the accomplish of each point in this project. Next one, please. Is there anyone? This is everything for us. So thank you for your attention, and this is the project that we developed in secondary school, and we hope you like this presentation, and that will be everything for us. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. That's
Thank
it.
you.